New York City. The town's so nice, they had to name it twice. One of the richest sports cities in America, New York has a history unlike any other town in the United States of America, or the world for that matter. New York City has a rich history of professional wrestling as well, and this weekend will be no exception. For the first time in over 60 years, a wrestling show will take place in Madison Square Garden that is not run by WWE. And this Sunday night, WWE's biggest show once again runs in MetLife Stadium with the biggest, the best, and the baddest of them all, Wrestlemania 35. History will indeed be made as for the first time 3 women main event a WrestleMania. Will an African-American wrestler become the first WWE World Heavyweight Champion? All these questions will be answered and so much more this Sunday. But this week, we preview everything that happens in the Big Apple. This is our WrestleMania 35 preview show on That Wrestling Show, and it begins now.
I heard there was this podcast, yo, about something funny like wrestling and so, and you really care about wrestling, don't you? There are drop kicks and leases all over the board, and then something called a wrestling hold. It's a super duper fun podcast about wrestling. That wrestling show. That wrestling show. That wrestling show. That wrestling show. Well, Fro and Bill and maybe a guest or two is here to hold your hand and guide you through a podcast about wrestling. We have a lot of extreme fun, and that's without a gun, because I needed something to rhyme fun with. That wrestling show, that wrestling show, that wrestling show, that wrestling show. Well, sit your behinds gently down and listen to our podcast sound, and try to guess this week's pro question. You win a lot of cool things, and also help Bill with his bills. That's a super duper fun competition. That wrestling show. 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 That wrestling show.
As WrestleMania is around the corner, welcome to That Wrestling Show, the only podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And why would it not be WrestleMania weekend? Because we got a lot on the plate today. We got Fro here.
Hello.
And back by popular demand, and when I mean by popular demand, I mean his own popular demand. We got Jason Burke.
Oh, That Wrestling Show. Don't you dare be sour, even though WrestleMania is 19 hours. Thank you so much for that rousing introduction. I appreciate that so much. It feels so kindly warm. I'm back here. I feel so loved. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. We love you on here.
Uh-huh.
So, this week, because
Can I just tell you that the future of That Wrestling Show demands on one single match during WrestleMania this year.
which we will talk about a little later on.
Yep.
Is it against you guys because you guys just kind of buried me in the intro there?
No.
No.
No. We'll explain it when we get to the match.
Yeah, we will talk about it.
And honestly, Jason, I can't bury you. I don't know how to use a shovel. So. I could call my friend Hunter, but, you know.
Yeah, ask Triple H. I was just going to say that.
But anyway, if you guys are looking for news this week, this is not the show you want, because there really is a lot of news to discuss. I mean, there's like one or two things, well, actually three things we can bring up, and then the rest of the show is either previewing shows or, you know, talking about other stuff. So why don't we just dive into the news and, you know, get it out of the way, because it's WrestleMania weekend. You guys don't want to hear us talking about news that is probably 3 days old, so...
Well, can I take one of the news?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Appearing on First Thing First, Triple H announced that a new partnership between Fox Sports, including SmackDown Fox debut on Friday, on October, and announced that there will be a new Tuesday night show exposing all the things WWE has in fall for FS1. Appearing at FS1 First Thing First, Triple H said that there will be a new show. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I like that idea.
No, it's supposedly, if you're a fan, a WWE fan across the board, this show will be a can't miss, Triple H said, because it's going to talk about everything you love in the way you can't get any other place.
So when they mean by can't miss, it pretty much means go ahead and miss.
Yeah, and I read that what I think this is going to be is more or less like backstage rumor show kind of thing.
Sort of like a TMZ, but for WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I really don't think that WWE has enough content out there. I'm really concerned about their lack of content. I think they have to add about another 10-hour show a week so we can have enough to watch.
Exactly.
I know. It's too little. That's what I think about, especially during WrestleMania weekend. I think, oh my God, I wish there was more.
And then there was that announcement, or the rumor, that SmackDown could be a 3-hour show once they go to Fox. I know.
Here's the thing, like, I love professional wrestling. I'm a longtime diehard fan. I go back 24, 25 years. Believe me when I say that I love the roster, I love the talent. I will always be a fan for the rest of my life. But, I mean, sometimes when a show is badly written, you want less of that show and not more. I mean, it has nothing to do with the talent on the show. It's one of the best rosters of all time. I love the potential of this roster. But when the writers are this basic and this bad, and the continuity and the storytelling and the characters and the belts are also devalued, the last thing you want is 9 more hours of content.
what worries me, maybe even more, is that WrestleMania doesn't have a special time start this weekend. It starts the same time as NXT this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I can promise you that is going to be a long-ass fucking show.
Well, supposedly they're saying it's going to be like normal. It's going to be 5 to 7 p.m. is going to be the pre-show, and then 7 to probably 12 is going to be the main show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. What WWE is missing out on is quality over quantity.
Yes.
Yep.
That is what helped them in the Monday Night War, was the quality of the product over the quantity that WCW had.
But like I said many times before, that's the main problem. They don't have any competitors right now.
Well, once AEW gets going, and in a few years, I'm not saying they're gonna be the main competitor right away, but give them a few years.
This is going to be a very good thing if AEW takes off and gets a good TV deal. That's the biggest thing now. AEW needs to have a very solid national TV deal because regardless of how slow it takes to grow, you're already seeing a difference in that so many guys are able to leave now because AEW is offering $1 million contracts where nobody's done that for a long, long time. So already you're seeing guys asking out of their contracts, wanting out of their deals, getting pushed because they don't want to lose those guys. So you're already starting to see a bit of a difference, and it's going to be big time full force once September, October rolls around and they get an actual TV deal.
Yeah. And, of course, just to mention, to add on to that, what Jason said, Jim Ross signed a 3-year contract with All Elite Wrestling to not only be their commentator, but to also be a senior advisor for the company. So Jim Ross is a very knowledgeable person. So I think they got a very good person to hire as their senior advisor. No one knows the business quite as well as Jim Ross does.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of just general exposure and experience and being able to teach storytelling, he's been in every position backstage. He's been out there as an on-air talent. He has the energy and excitement of a commentator. I mean, Jim Ross is probably the single biggest backstage hire you could have right now at this stage with who's available in the company. So absolutely. I think it's a major step in the right direction.
Absolutely. All right. So to the news that I was thinking of, because I honestly... I'll be honest, I didn't even think about the Triple H news until you said it, so good job on there.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Earlier this week, it was announced we're going to have a second wrestling show in Madison Square Garden this year, not run by WWE. At a press conference Thursday, AAA Wrestling announced that they will have a show in Madison Square Garden on Sunday night, September the 15th. Tickets go on sale for this event on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you on Ticketmaster, and they are expected to have streaming options to be announced at a later date. No matches announced at this point in time, but it was said there will be a lot of surprises. So, within a matter of less than a year, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and AAA are having a wrestling show in Madison Square Garden. I'll be honest, I never thought it would be possible. I never did.
It's amazing. I mean, it just the more competition and the more lively markets means more jobs for everyone. It means more money coming in. It means more companies could start up later. It means so many things to everybody involved in wrestling. And of course, most importantly for us as fans and podcasters and journalists that have done wrestling for a long time, it means more to talk about. It means more excitement. It means more shows. So congrats to AAA on their biggest show. I hope that it goes well. I hope that it's well attended. I hope that it makes money, and I hope that it makes other companies want to come back and do more.
I think it's in the shadow of the success of what we will see this weekend.
Oh, definitely.
Tomorrow, yes.
I mean, I'm not going to go to the AAA show because it's right when I get back to work for the school year, but I'll definitely watch it. If it's on a streaming service or pay-per-view, I will definitely watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I know we're... Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay, I guess... Oh, anyway. We're all fans of documentaries here. It was announced yesterday that A&E, remember when they used to have the biography show all the time? Anybody remember that? Okay, okay, Jason, you do. Fro, do you even remember that?
No.
No? Oh.
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm Norwegian.
Well, yeah, I know, but you do.
I used to record the documentaries on VHS tapes and watch them over and over again.
Yeah. Well, WWE announced a deal with A&E to produce 5 2-hour documentaries as part of the network's biography series. And we have our 5. They are Randy Savage, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Roddy Piper, and Booker T. Now I know some are probably thinking, ooh, it's going to come real soon. Not quite.
Yeah, no.
Austin and Michaels, their biography thing will be slated for a release in 2021. The other 3 are in pre-production right now, and they will hit the airwaves in the spring of 2020. You know what? I'll watch all 5. I really will. I think they're going to be good.
Absolutely. I'm surprised they're actually subletting this deal for A&E because the network always has documentaries and they do a good job producing those. So I'm surprised they're not having all the content be on the network instead. But I'm disappointed there's not going to be a Barry Horowitz documentary. I was looking forward to that.
One step at a time, my friend. One step at a time.
Hopefully in 2026 we'll see Gilbert, Barry Horowitz, Duke the Dumpster Droese. We'll get a nice little series going.
There you go. All right. Now on to some happier news. Because, there's a lot of bad news in the world today. And, WrestleMania is that special time of the year when couples have been together either for a long time or not long enough. They decide that, maybe it's time to settle down and get married. Well, last night, Zack Ryder proposed to his girlfriend, and they are engaged. Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green are gonna get married.
Well, that kind of makes me sad because I thought I had a chance with Chelsea Green. No, just, I'm quite a huge fan of Chelsea Green. I think she at one time she was doing the TNA psychotic character, and I didn't watch much TNA around that time because I wasn't a fan of the overall product after the post Bischoff and Hogan era. Right. But Chelsea Green was one of the shining stars of that product, carrying it on her back for a long time. I think she's one of the most versatile, diverse performers. I think her facial expressions, along with her athleticism, are one of the most underrated on the entire roster right now they have, and I can't wait to see what she does with NXT once she gets up on the air pretty soon. So congratulations to them. Zack Ryder obviously had his moments as well in MSG and getting all the Let's Go Ryder chants and the on and off pushes that he's had over the years. So you always want to see like-minded people get together and be happy, and especially in wrestling, it's always fun to see little power couples form. So best of luck to you guys, and hopefully it goes well.
Anything you want to add to that, Fro?
Nope.
All right.
I agree.
With everything. And you know what? While we're on the subject of engagements, let's stay in our community because one of our own members recently got engaged. And I want to give a big shout out to Ben Zavala. He proposed to his girlfriend and they are going to get married in the near future. So, Ben, congratulations to you and your fiance, Raven. Best of luck to the both of you. Maybe you can send one of us an invitation to your wedding. But
Ben, I don't actually know you in person. I haven't actually got a chance to meet you. But I'm just going to say that if you want to hire someone to pop out of a cake for you for the bachelorette party,
you could just hire me to eat the cake.
Perfect.
There you go.
After I pop out.
But yeah, just had to mention that because we are a tight community. We're family here, and so congratulations to Ben and his new fiance, Raven.
Yes, congrats.
The best goes for you all. Fro, I know you don't watch Raw Monday night or on Mondays.
I did.
Oh,
I did this week.
Did you?
Of course, I did this.
the greatest fight of all time.
Okay, you can go with that. Okay.
Okay. Now, Jason, you know what we're talking about, right?
Okay, so I purposely don't watch Raw because I value my sanity, but talking about the Becky Lynch thing, is that what we're talking about? The call? Oh, God.
That was the greatest thing. The greatest thing of all time. So, for those who missed Raw, or, like Jason, choose not to watch it, let's briefly go down what happened. So there was a 6-woman tag match with the 3 women in the main event of WrestleMania against the Riot Squad, with the stipulation being that if any of the 3 that are in the main event betray their partners, they would be kicked out of the main event of WrestleMania. So, you know, they didn't really push it far enough, I thought, but, you know, it was pushed to a degree. So Ronda Rousey gets an armbar victory on Liv Morgan. As soon as that bell rings, Rousey goes right after Charlotte Flair, and it is on like Donkey Kong. I mean, the 3 women, they're fighting each other, and they get security out at first. It doesn't work. Then the fine Washington, D.C. police come by, and they get in, and they're trying to arrest all 3 of them, but they can't, you know, they do it, but, you know, they're resisting arrest, and it's so good. Oh, my God, it was so well done. And then they get to the back, and then there's one point where Becky and Ronda are in the same car, and they start kicking each other. I mean, they're missing on the kicks, but they're kicking each other, and Ronda breaks the window of the car, and, you know, then Becky gets in the car with Charlotte, and they get into a fight, and then Ronda, with her hands handcuffed behind her back, drives the car for like 15 feet before she crashes, and then Ronda gets out of she puts her head out of the car, and Charlotte hits a running knee onto Ronda. It was the greatest thing ever. It really was.
I gotta say, just living off the GIF alone, the knee looked brutal.
Oh, it was brutal. My only thought was, because I live near DC, my only thought was, oh man, those jails in DC are not going to be good for them.
My only thought was that it's always good to give the DC independent wrestling scene a lot of jobs with those fake cops. That's always nice.
Now, this is where it actually gets funny. Because Brian Alvarez from Wrestling Observer, the Wrestling Observer website, he was sent a list of actual charges that the 3 women would have faced if this didn't happen within the confines of WWE. So here's what all 3 would have faced. Becky would have faced 3 counts of assault and resisting arrest. Charlotte, and this is surprising, Charlotte gets the most on this one. Charlotte would have faced 9 counts of assault, 5 counts of assaulting an officer, and 4 counts of resisting arrest. Ronda would have faced 3 counts of assault, 5 counts of assaulting an officer, 2 counts of resisting arrest, a misdemeanor vandalism, grand theft, and assault with a deadly weapon. Whoever sent that list, God
wrestling
bless you.
Always a lot of felons. Jeez, I mean, I don't want to be that guy that brings up topical things, but like, thank God it wasn't Kofi Kingston, right?
Oh.
Sorry in advance to anybody else. I get in trouble for that reference. I apologize.
Oh man, but no, I just had to bring that up. I really did. I thought it was a really well done, executed segment, and it was
very good.
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Oh yeah, it was very, very good.
All right. Now, before we get into the fun stuff, we do have to discuss, and this has probably been discussed on a lot of other wrestling podcasts, but we're going to do it anyway. The segment from last week tonight with John Oliver talking about
Yeah.
WWE.
I sent you a clip of this.
I did watch it. I watched the whole 22 minutes.
It's very funny.
Oh, it is, but he's very on point as well.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I will say as a John Oliver fan that I find this maybe a little more funny than other people. But, yeah, he was very on point.
Mm-hmm. Jason, I would imagine you have seen this video.
I'm going to surprise you again. I actually have not. I heard about the reports earlier this week, and I have it in my queue to watch. But being that there's like 3 or 4 projects that I'm working on right now full time, I haven't had the chance to check it out. I imagine it was a funny commentary on the state of wrestling, or
more of WWE.
Yeah, well, it's WWE and Vince McMahon
in general,
mainly. Yeah.
Okay.
I would call it a hit piece, but it's not a hit piece. So, in a bad way, I think he brings up his 3 main points: is healthcare, union, and what happens after you leave WWE. That is his 3 main points. What he wants them to get is better health care. He talks about the contracts being silly. I totally agree with that. And the use of the word independent contractors when you're neither independent or a contractor for...
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing about independent contractors, that they can usually pick and choose where they want to work with different companies, but you can't do that under Vince.
And that's why it's by definition not the independent contractor, because as an independent contractor, you would have much more room around what you do.
Yeah,
right.
And he brings up all the terrible young deaths we have had in wrestling. Yes. And looks at the healthcare plans for wrestlers after they gone out of wrestling. And he brings up Roddy Piper, that I understand that he had actually a good, very friendly relationship with. And
yeah.
Sorry?
You mean with Vince?
Yeah, with Vince. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a hard watch, but it also was kind of, we have talked about this for so many fucking years. And I'm glad that he brings it out to a new audience. I'm very happy that the audience that watches him will primarily not know about it, because it's a very left-wing comedy show, to say it mildly, and wrestlers, people that are into wrestling tend to be more Republican science and the democratic. Than democratic. So everything points to doing this a week before WrestleMania is, of course, a little, what do you call it? A little maybe low blow. But I felt what he said in this piece was nothing revolutionary for people that follows wrestling, but it was a very good piece for people that don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for me, because I said this on Facebook the other night, what really stuck out to me was he's a wrestling fan. This is a guy who is a wrestling fan. This isn't somebody who's like a shock jock or some sports columnist who, when they get the first chance to bash people, they do it. This guy is a legit fan of wrestling. He's a legit fan of WWE, and he's telling it basically like it is. And I thought WWE's reply was not that good. And actually, I'll pull
No.
up. I will pull up the comment.
It was pretty bad, actually. I think it was kind of taking a piss out of his standpoints. They more or less invited him to WrestleMania,
Right. Which to
look at the conditions now. But what he's criticizing has nothing to do with him watching the product or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little like if I said out loud, you get fat eating chocolate, and I get invited to the chocolate factory. It doesn't stop the fact that you get fat from eating chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
So
the concerns he brought up is kind of put under the rug almost in the tweets that they send out.
So this is the statement that WWE released. John Oliver is clearly a clever and humorous entertainer. However, the subject matter covered in his WWE segment is no laughing matter. Prior to airing, WWE responded to his producers refuting every point in his one-sided presentation. John Oliver simply ignored the facts. The health and wellness of our performers is the single most important aspect of our business, and we have a comprehensive, long-standing talent wellness program. We invite John Oliver to attend WrestleMania this Sunday to learn more about our company.
Yeah, so that's more or less taking a shit on what he said,
Yeah,
and I don't agree. I don't agree on it either.
It's not their
because-
best comeback.
I mean, here's the thing: you can have a wellness policy in place, but it's a flawed policy in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Something
not the only thing. It's just that I think there's something said when you try to excuse yourself in the way you do like that. It's like one-sided. Was it one-sided? Yes, but it wasn't. Well, it wasn't from their side, but he was very clear on being a wrestling fan. So it was done with so much love that I didn't really care.
And the other thing that I thought of, and Fro, you can agree or disagree with me with what I'm going to say here. I thought John Oliver stayed positive. You know,
yeah.
He never yelled. You know, like you and I do whenever we go on our rants. But he never yelled. He never said, "Oh, I'm never watching the product again." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
He stayed positive for the most part.
Yep.
So,
and the thing is, you can sit there and talk all you want to about there being a wellness policy in place and having, the forefront being the injury of the wrestlers. But look at CM Punk and the lawsuit and all the stuff that came out during the lawsuit about the doctor not treating him and worrying about signing contracts over the health of the wrestlers and Vince rushing guys back from injury. I believe all those things are true, and that's why Punk won the lawsuit in the first place. And he's not the first or last guy to have been in that situation. So I'm sure they're still doing it today too. So you can say all you want that, they're not allowing the wrestlers to take certain drugs or whatever. But number one, not everyone is being tested. Number two, not all tests are positive.
Exactly.
And number three, there are still things that they're rushing guys back too soon and focusing on their money versus the talent's health and safety anyway. So they're still wrong.
And there's something said when someone tried to do this in a humorous way and get turned away like that in such a matter. I don't think they actually watched the thing. There's nothing they can refute in it that he said that is wrong. There's nothing factually wrong with the piece he did. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what gets me even more irritated.
Basically, the way I look at it, at the end of the day, WWE, in their mind, not our mind, in their mind, they got picked on, they got bullied, and have no one to go to complain to, basically.
Yeah.
And my other thing about the union, and I want to say this briefly. as much as I think a union would be good, at the same time, I think a union would also kill WWE. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I totally agree.
I agree as well.
all right. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I know every other show in the world was going to do it. So, but
Yeah, we even talk a little about it on that on Let's Talk Then. No,
another
Let's
digital
Talk Then.
citizen.
Jesus Christ, that's a long time since we heard that slip up.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. All right, now we're going to get into some fun here. WWE.com earlier this week released their list of the 35 best WrestleMania matches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
This is their list. Now, a little later on, the three of us, we're going to reveal our 5 favorite WrestleMania matches, and also some of the fans on our Facebook group, their 5 favorite WrestleMania matches. But, I think we did this a couple years ago, actually, for where it was like the 33 greatest WrestleMania matches.
Yeah.
So now they're just bumping it up to 35. So we'll go through each list, or at least this list, and we'll see if we agree with it being on the list or not. So we'll start with number 35, Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles.
I think that's a funny pick to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wasn't a bad match by any means, and I like the fact that, Shane had somewhat freshly returned by that point, but no, I mean, they're just trying to include a lot of modern stuff so that it's not a one-sided list, but yeah. I wouldn't say that's in the 35 best, no.
No, I wouldn't either. 34, Mick Foley versus Edge, the hardcore match.
Yes.
Yeah, this should be higher.
Oh, yeah, this should be
Hopefully.
On the list, definitely. 33, the Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 21, the very first one.
Oh yeah, and why isn't this higher?
Yeah, I'd put this a little higher.
Yeah, same here. This to me is probably the best Money in the Bank ladder match they ever had on their Mania show itself.
Right.
Well, you're going to hear somebody disagreeing with you a little later.
All right.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Number 32. Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Goldust, the Hollywood Backlot Brawl.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. That was a good match.
It's a good spectacle. It's topical. It's fun. We can all kind of recall it at the time, but no.
It's not among the 35 greatest.
No.
31. Undertaker. Oh, this is actually our first Undertaker match. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
No.
This match is garbage.
It is only on there for what happened.
Shock value.
Other than that, this is not a good match.
No offense, I love Taker. Brock's had better matches, but this match, I know Taker was concussed early in the match, but it's a bad match.
It is.
Yeah. It is very, very bad.
Number 30. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. WrestleMania 19.
Yes.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I think it's probably the worst out of their 3 Mania matches, but I understand why.
I'd agree with that. I mean, and it's not saying that it's a terrible match. All 3 of them are good. But
right.
Of the 3, this is probably but like I said, it's not a bad match,
Right.
29. Chris Jericho versus Triple H, WrestleMania 18.
No.
No, I don't think so either.
It's only on there because Triple H came back from the quadricep injury. That's the only reason it's on there.
Yeah, Jericho deserved better. I know it was the main event of Mania still, but I think Jericho's title reign was overshadowed too much.
28. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 8.
I really enjoyed this one. I would say yes.
Oh, yeah. I would say yes as well.
Yeah. I think next to SummerSlam, WrestleMania has the best Intercontinental title matches.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect example. I mean, if you ever read Bret's book, he talks about how in the match, he bleeds. He bleeds in the match. And he cut himself open, but he told Vince that, it was hard way, and Vince is like, oh, okay. That's okay. And then when Rick gets busted open in his match, and he got busted open hard way, Vince thought he cut him, he bladed himself, and Flair ends up getting fined. Which... Well.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say, because Roddy Piper is one of the best characters of all time and one of the best mic workers of all time, but as a wrestler, he's not the best. So I would say this probably is his best wrestling match of all time.
That's a good argument there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
27. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Miz, Zack Ryder, Stardust, and Sin Cara ladder match for the Intercontinental title, WrestleMania 32.
No.
Sin Cara's in it, so no.
Well, we lost our Sin
Was
Cara
it Sin Cara, or was it Sin Cara Blue, or was it black, or white, or orange, or...
Right. Yeah.
No.
26. Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, WrestleMania 32.
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to say no on the guys that I think that the Charlotte and Asuka match from last year was better. Is that on this list?
No.
I would think if you want to include a modern day ladies match, I would think that Charlotte and Asuka deserves it over this. So I'm going to say no.
Okay. I honestly thought this was the best match of 32. I'm going to be a maybe on this one. Only because I want to see how time tells this match many years down the line. If time is good to this match, I'll say, yes, I agree. If time isn't, then I'm going to say no. So,
well, next year they're going to produce the 36 best matches in Mania history, so you got a chance next year.
I know, right? 25, Edge versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 24.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites Undertaker matches, actually. I think this is underrated.
Yes, so do I. I think Taker and Edge's entire feud's underrated. They had a bunch of really good matches.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This was the main event of that WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because you had Flair's quote-unquote retirement match.
Mm-hmm.
You had Big Show Mayweather. You had a triple threat match for the WWE title. But this is the main event. This is the one that goes on last. And it's a good match. It is. If not for anything else, Charles Robinson running down the aisle as if he is fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Very fun. 24. Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6.
I'm going to be controversial and say no.
Okay.
I'm not a fan. I
respect that. I respect that. This is one of those matches that is spectacle over substance.
I agree.
The two name value guys, the crowd was hot, the story was okay, but the match itself not very good.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Being a child of the 90s, well, born in the 80s, but raised in the 90s, this is the match that made me a fan. And I think this deserves to be on the list, and I actually think this should be higher on the list. But that's just me.
Fair enough.
23. Undertaker versus CM Punk, WrestleMania 29.
Undertaker, CM Punk in the match. Can I say any more? Well, the most disappointing in this is how fucking hurt he was.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I love this match. I think it's one of the better modern day Mania matches, maybe in the last 10 years. I think Punk should have been the one to end the streak in the first place.
Thank you.
Me too.
I was at this WrestleMania. I saw this match live. It was a fun match. There were people there for CM Punk. I thought for sure Punk, I still say it to this day, I thought they were going to reward Punk for that year-plus long title reign by letting him end the streak. I really did. Yeah,
this was Taker's last great match of his career, in my opinion, too.
But to me, Undertaker had the greatest WrestleMania entrance of all time at this WrestleMania. When he came from the bowels of hell, and I could still feel that fire. I remember feeling that fire all the way from the 400s. Still felt that to this day.
Nice.
22. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 31.
No.
But this is the cash. This is the cash.
I don't care. No. Any match that has the word Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the same fucking word is not a good match.
Oh.
No.
Right.
I can tell that Fro loves this match. I can tell it's
right?
Oh, fucking hate it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree. This match was pretty much garbage before Rollins cashed in. I did like this one better than their future match at Mania because that was
yes.
Last year's was a shit stain on life.
That was one of the best. Wow, that's very strong. But I insulted shit stains.
I think what I liked about this match, and it's not the cash in. I mean, the cash in is a great surprise. But what I liked about this was you actually had a story of a guy in Roman Reigns who just would not go down. And he kept going. He kept fighting, even though I think he got busted open in the lip. He, been suplexed a bajillion times. I mean, this is the match where Suplex City was said. This is the match. So,
yep.
I think 22 is actually a little bit high. I'd put it a little bit lower.
Yeah, I'd say about 122.
Well, excuse me. All right. 21. The Undertaker versus Triple H. Hell in a Cell. The end of an era. Which era? We have never figured it out.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? I know I'm a big Undertaker fan, and this match was very, very good there and then. But now, in
retrospective,
no, not really.
Yeah, no, they are the end of an era, and they actually fought each other in a tag match like 2 weeks ago, right, in Saudi Arabia, whatever. Yeah, so the end of what era, I don't know. But, no, honestly, to me, I'm going to be controversial here. I hated this match. I thought it was terrible. I guess I just don't like it whenever two older guys are facing each other at Mania instead of using their star power to help younger talents out. So I would have rather seen Triple H and Taker go up against guys like Owens or Ambrose or Rollins or Wyatt, someone like that. But the only part of this match that was good for me was my boy Shawn Michaels super kicking Taker into the pedigree.
Oh, that was a good spot.
That was a great spot. I believed at that moment Taker was actually going to lose for the first time, so that was a big deal. But no, other than that, this match is overrated to me.
You know what I thought was one thing that I think was good was Jim Ross commentating on this match.
Yes.
Other than that, I think their match at 27 was a lot better than this one.
I didn't like that one either. I thought 17 was the good one to me.
Well, yeah, it is. 20, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho.
I love this match. I think this is one of the most underrated matches ever. Yeah, this to me was like, because I grew up being a Shawn Michaels fan in the early 90s, and then seeing Jericho come into WCW and kind of take over from the Lionheart gimmick to the heel. I thought this was like one of those mirror image matches where Jericho's the young Shawn Michaels, and I just love this is an example of what I was talking about, where an established veteran can face a young talent and they can really bring the best out of them. This is what I want to see for the WrestleMania. So I really enjoyed the present versus future gimmick of it.
I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think to me, this is the match that solidified Shawn's comeback. He had the matches with Triple H. He had the world title for a cup of coffee, but he needed that one match, and this was that one match. And once it happened, he was back for good. 19, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H.
Yep. We're going to talk about this match a little later. I love this match.
How long was the match?
I love
you love the match. Okay, I thought you asked how long was the match.
No. Are we going to talk about this a little later? I love this match.
Yeah, this to me is one of the greatest openers in Mania history. I really enjoyed this one too. I didn't so much enjoy the main event where Bryan won. Aside from Bryan winning, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be on the list later. But I really enjoyed the opener a lot.
I'm gonna be a little controversial here. I think this is the greatest opening match in WrestleMania history. I really do. It just edges out Bret and Owen for the fact that you had this story of, the Authority versus the guy that everybody wants, but the Authority doesn't. And they end up turning out a hell of a match. It was a fantastic match. It really was.
And to think if CM Punk didn't walk out, we wouldn't have gotten it.
Yep. Thanks, Punk.
Yep.
18. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 23.
I like this match, but I think it's too high. I think this is definitely one of Cena's best at Mania, but I don't think it's nearly this good compared to a couple of the other ones we already discussed. So I like it, but I think it's high.
Okay.
It's okay.
I actually enjoyed this match. Maybe a little bit lower, but not too lower.
Though I think their match on Raw was better. They had like an Iron Man match on Raw at one point.
I have never seen that match.
I would check that one out. I think it's actually a little better in terms of giving it more time to develop. And even though Mania is a bigger spectacle, I think the Raw match itself was better.
Right. All right. Now this one might be our most controversial match on the list. 17. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
No. It shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, it's I do think that it was another one of those spectacle matches. I think everyone played their part well. I think it was, Ronda's debut plus Kurt's return. I think all four parts did well. I really enjoyed the work of all four. I think that the crowd was really into it. I think that it was a ticket selling kind of a match, but as a match itself, I'm going to say no.
Oh, I mean, when this match happened, it went past my expectation of how it was going to go. I mean, Fro, remember when we went through Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Match of the Year, this was the runner-up. Mm-hmm. This was the runner-up.
I know.
So, I enjoyed the match, but I don't think it's 30. It's not in my top 35.
No.
Maybe top 100, but it would be on the low end of the top 100. 16. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 19.
Oh, no.
I'm going to say, this match was a nice shooting star in the list. No, honestly, I really enjoyed their chemistry every time they got together, whether it was the SmackDown Iron Man match or the Backlash match or this match. I really enjoyed their chemistry, and I thought this is back when Brock actually gave a shit. So that was pretty fun overall.
I think you have that incorrect, Jason, because that never ever fucking happened when he gave a shit.
Yeah, it's possible too.
I enjoyed their match at SummerSlam that year.
Better? Oh yeah.
More than this match, but this is good.
I totally agree.
15. Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage, WrestleMania 7.
Yeah, it should be on the list. Maybe not at 7. I think that's a little
it's at
high.
15.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm going to agree. It's another one of those matches that's more spectacle versus in-ring work, I guess. But I think that Savage is the kind of guy that can bump around for Warrior and make him look great and better than he actually is in the ring. So I would say, yeah. I mean, maybe a little high, but good.
I don't like to play my cards out, but this is not the last time you're going to hear this match on this show this week. But it is great. 14. Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20.
Aww. This match makes me sad when I watch it, but it's very good.
Yeah, this whole WrestleMania 20 makes me sad when I watch it now, just because growing up in my top 5 all-time wrestlers, Eddie and Benoit are both there. So to me, it really was a big deal getting to see the work rate guys who I grew up in WCW watching, being in the main events of WrestleMania fighting for world titles, special to me for sure. But of course, in all the tragedy that's happened since now, my opinion is kind of a lot more dark than it used to be. But yes, this match was excellent.
I'll be honest, this might have my favorite ending to a match ever at WrestleMania.
Yeah, this is cool.
The ending is so creative, so smart. I mean,
you talk about building a character in a match. That's a way to do it.
13, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, streak versus career.
Yep.
So, like, funny thing, I did for when I was working back for Axis, which is the company now that plays New Japan on Fridays. When I was working for their website, I had ranked my top, I think, 20 Mania matches of all time, and I decided at the time to give this the number one spot over the 25 match because this 26 match is just so good and so underrated. Where we all know how good the 25 match is, but no one talks about 26. This match is so good that maybe it's not the best of all time like I had before, but a very, very good match that doesn't get enough love.
I think we will hear about it later.
It's one of the rare times, and it doesn't matter if it's a movie or in this case wrestling, where the sequel is just as good as the original.
Right.
This, I agree with you. This is very underrated. So, number 12, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Batista, WrestleMania 30.
Yep. Love this match.
Yeah, I love Daniel Bryan. I love the fact that he was given the ball finally, even though it with injury it didn't last long enough that it should have. But I don't know. As a match, I guess it's just because I really can't stand Batista or Orton. I don't like either guy. So it really, aside from Bryan winning, I wasn't overly invested. So I'm going to say yes for significance sake, but I don't think that it's anywhere near this high.
I believe that this WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan in it, the two matches, is one of the greatest WrestleMania performances of all time.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
because
by individual, definitely.
Yeah, because there's no way one individual should be able to have two good matches like that on the same show, especially at WrestleMania. But Daniel Bryan was able to pull it off.
Definitely.
11. The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 18.
No, I'm going to be controversial and say no here. I don't like this match.
I think this is the one case where the sizzle over the steak actually works very well. I love the crowd's reaction. I think this is one of Hogan's best wrestling matches, and I know that's a wide span of things, but I really enjoy this, man. I'm really a big fan of this one, and you might hear about it again later. But this is the first time where a purist like myself, who likes the in-ring technical aspect, is going to favor the crowd reaction and the characters more than the actual in-ring.
Yeah. I thought it was a good match. I think the only reason it's up this high is because of who's in the match. That's the only reason.
I think so as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 10, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, WrestleMania 24.
Yep. You're going to hear about it before or later.
Because we can't quite call it a career match because, well, we're not going to spoil it here, but, you know. No, I enjoyed the match.
Spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love seeing the callbacks in this match to, like, Shawn goes to the top rope and gets tossed off like Flair usually does. And then Flair
so good.
goes to the top rope and actually does a crossbody, for God's sake. That was just really cool career retrospective for Flair and busting out suplex and stuff we haven't seen in a long time.
I'm going to say it now. I will say it again when we talk about this match later. I cried when he said, "I'm sorry" to Ric Flair and kicked him.
God! Oh, I
cried
so easily.
I cried so fucking much. It was so
sorry. Awful. I love you. Boom.
Yeah.
It is one of the best endings to a Mania match ever.
Maybe the saddest. Well, actually, no. Brock Lesnar winning last year was the saddest. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that is one of the saddest points ever.
No, the saddest was Sin Cara being in that ladder match.
Oh, well, he didn't win. So
the saddest is if Brock Lesnar wins this year, that is actually going to be sad. But we're going to talk about that later.
Yes.
Number 9, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10.
Oh my God! Of course, this is on the list. This is awesome. I love this match.
Yeah, this is definitely in my opinion, the greatest opener in Mania history. This is just quintessential intensity. Two brothers, one kicking the leg out of his leg, just amazing. I mean, Owen is one of the most underrated performers of all time, and Brett's just equally as good as you would expect him to be. So this match is a classic.
And again, I love the ending to the match. That ending is so good. It is a good match. Like I said, I think Triple H and Daniel's the greatest opening match of all time, but it just edges this one out, just barely. Number 8, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, the Iron Man match.
You know, being from the new generation, I guess, era is when I first started watching live for the first time before I went back and watched all the older stuff. But I like this match a lot. Obviously, my all-time favorite is Shawn. Bret's in my top 10 as well. But this is too high for this. This was good, but it was a bit monotonous and a little boring in parts, and it doesn't hold up as well as it did back in the day. So I'm going to say yes, but lower.
I actually agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, and I remember somebody saying this on another podcast. Like, when you watch it as a kid, you're like, wow, this is a really good match. But as time has gone on, this match, I don't think, has aged well. I'm not saying it's either man's fault. I mean, the idea to go a 60-minute match is pretty ballsy. I would have it on the list, but I would not have it in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Number 7, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, the ladder match.
No.
Okay.
Wow, that one surprises me.
No.
Can I ask what didn't work for you? Is it just because the ladder match has evolved so much, or what do you think keeps it off?
Yeah, I think it's mainly that. I did not. This is one of the ladder matches where I feel like the involvement of the ladder matches has been so much better during the years that it just doesn't fit in.
Yes, I mean, to me, this is in my personal top 10, and I think making the ladder feel so dangerous is what made this so special for me. I mean, both guys had good chemistry. They bumped around very well, especially Shawn. But I think that making the ladder feel like an actual weapon and making it feel dangerous and pacing this match out, I really enjoyed this one and the SummerSlam rematch in Pittsburgh as well. Both were great to me, so I think it's for sure.
I mean, I understand where Fro's coming from. I really do.
Yeah.
But it's a very influential match. I mean, if this match fails, we might not have ladder matches. We might not have TLC matches today.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for an influential purpose, this is a good spot. Number 6, TLC 2, the Dudleys, Hardys, Edge and Christian.
Yeah, this thing is amazing. This is pretty much, if you like high-flying, big bumps, car crash, this is one of the best matches of all time. It just, much like you said about ladder matches, this is the TLC influence. This is the one that put these teams on the map and pretty much defined tag team wrestling for this era.
And when we talk about TLC, we don't go thinking, go chasing waterfalls. Because that was also TLC.
And we're not talking about the channel either, folks. So
no.
Yeah, I'm okay with this being on the top 10. I am. It's a good match, but I'm okay with it being in the top 10. Number 5, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 21.
This in my opinion, is probably one of the most underrated matches in Mania history. This thing is an absolute barn burner, and the only thing that's better than this is the match they had the month after at Backlash. They just had two excellent matches, just like told a great story, mixed good selling in with great psychology, Angle working over the leg, Shawn being one of the best sellers of all time. This was just tailor-made for a nice, long, good story that wasn't overdone. It wasn't over spotty. It was just everything you could want in a good story for two all-time pros. Excellent match.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. Bobby Heenan said many years ago, the day after that match, he called both men and told them that was the greatest match he'd ever seen live and in person. If Bobby Heenan tells you that, that's a hell of a compliment right there.
Oh, yeah.
It is a great match. That is the best match of 21, bar none. Number 4, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good match. I think it's the best of their trilogy, and obviously the significance of the heel turn and everything afterwards, which shouldn't have been done in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I like this match a lot, but I don't know if it belongs in the company of the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, and I said this on other shows before, this is the night, WrestleMania 17. This is the night where the Attitude Era ends, is this night. And this is the match that ends it. It's a good match. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I'm more of a fan of the first match they had at 15 than any of the other 3. So, this is a good match, but I prefer the one at 15 over the other 2.
Sure.
All right. Number 3, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, the submission match.
No, not this high. I feel this is too much high. Yeah, no. I just feel this is too high on the list.
I'm a really big fan of this one. I think this is an example of how to use stipulations correctly. Definitely a masterclass as far as the weapons and sort of the story they told. Also, another example of Bret Hart being the established legend and Stone Cold being the next big star. It was another way to use your established guy to make a new guy as well. Bret did a lot for Steve Austin and started off the Attitude Era kind of in a way. But I really, really enjoyed this, and to me it's one that every season I always rewatch every year because I think as far as no holds barred stuff goes, it's as good as it gets.
I'll say this. If this match does not happen, and if it's not as good as a lot of people say, WrestleMania 13 might be the most forgettable WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah.
In all honesty. But this match saves what is otherwise a not so good WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you had the Godwins on it, so I'm sure it was good.
Aw. All right. Number 2. Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat, WrestleMania 3.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
Yep.
Yeah, this match is excellent and belongs in the top 10, but I mean, dare I say overrated for how much praise it gets, because as a wrestling match, it probably gets, along with Hogan Andre, the most praise for any wrestling match ever by most fans, especially casual fans. And I think that while it is a top 10 WrestleMania match, and it's an excellent match, and we know how good these two guys are, I think that for the lexicon of wrestling and for the discussion of fans, I think it's overrated compared to some other matches.
I love this match. Again, somebody said this once. I think it was on Legends of Wrestling that was said once. Hogan and Andre brought 93,000 people to the Silverdome. Savage and Steamboat stole the show.
Sure. I agree with that.
And according to WWE.com, the greatest match in WrestleMania history, The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25.
Yeah, it's going to come back.
No, this match is terrible. I'm just kidding. It's
I would have kicked you off right now.
yeah, no, I'm surprised because this is such an obvious choice. I mean, it's probably the best match of all time in wrestling history. I mean, it's in my top 3 favorites of all time. It's two absolute legends telling one of the best stories you can tell on the biggest stage. The only crime here is that it was not the main event if it's WrestleMania, right, because they had some awesome Triple H and Randy Orton match that was garbage come on after it. Yep. So yeah, I mean, this was kind of the obvious choice. We all knew this was number 1, but it deserves to be. So congrats to those guys.
All right.
Yeah, it deserves to be, and it will be talked about later.
Yes, it will. So before let me ask you guys this: should we go into our top 5, or should I read some of our listeners' top 5?
Let's let the listeners go first.
All right.
Sure.
Let's build up the suspense.
Let's build it up. All right. So, we asked our listeners, our fans, to send in their picks of their 5 favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. It didn't matter what the criteria was. It didn't matter, just however you wanted it. So we're gonna go through all 5, or not. Well, we're gonna go through their matches. I mean. We'll start with Steven. Here's his 5 favorite WrestleMania matches. Shawn and Razor, WrestleMania 10. TLC 2, from 17. Rock and Hogan from 18. Eddie and Kurt from 20. And Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. But because they're both so good, he added both matches on the list. So I'm going to let that pass, actually.
No, that's cheating. He's banned.
Oh.
Just kidding, Steven. Just kidding.
All right. Jason Harris is next. Here's his list. Bret versus Owen. Shawn versus Jericho. Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn. Taker and Shawn from 25. And Bret Austin. Ernesto with his top 5. Bret and Shawn from 12. Shawn and Taker from 25. Andre and Hogan from 3. That's a very interesting selection there. Hogan and Warrior 6, and Bret Austin 13. And finally from Brian, Savage and Steamboat from 3, Piper and Hart from 8, Bret and Owen from 10, the Dudleys, Hardys, Edge and Christian from 16, which I actually am a big fan of that match, and Hart and Austin from 13. So, now that we've heard our fans, let's go to us. Our 5 favorite WrestleMania matches. And Jason, since this was your idea, I will let you go first.
Okay, well, I mean, this is kind of easy, I guess, because we've already, I think all 5 of the matches on my list were already on their list, so I guess I have kind of discussed them all already, but in descending order, or ascending order, I guess. I don't know. Number 5 is Rock versus Hogan from 18, and that is purely in the star power and spectacle and environment and crowd feedback and all that, and the whole Hogan face turn. Number 4 is HBK versus Kurt Angle from 21, which is a technical masterclass with 2 all-time legends who deserve even higher praise, but 4 is as high as I could go here. 3 is TLC 2 from 17, the best match on the best Mania of all time and best pay-per-view of all time, Mania 17. Put tag team wrestling on the map. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart from 13. We've already discussed the use of weapons, the use of putting a new guy over, the Austin Blood moment, the Attitude Era ushering in. Very important. And number 1, Taker versus HBK from Mania 25. Kind of obvious. So there we go. There's my 5. It is hard because there are so many others I want to include, but those 5 stand out right away.
Mm-hmm. All right. Fro, why don't you go ahead with your 5?
My number 5 is Money in the Bank WrestleMania 24 when CM Punk wins.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is underrated. It's one of my favorites, especially when he wins the next year as well. Just a very, very fun WrestleMania match. My number 4 is Bret Hart versus Stone Cold from WrestleMania 13. That is my favorite Bret Hart moment, actually. Believe it or not.
All right.
Yeah. My number 3 is Daniel Bryan versus Batista versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30. I could cheat and say the opening as well, but I have a sheet on my number 1, so we will hear it then. And my number 2 is HBK versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24. I just love that match. Seeing him crying and saying "I love you" and kicking him in the face. And my sheet is The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 and 26.
All right. I'll be honest. It was a little hard to do 5. It really was. I am sticking with 5, by the way. I'm not cheating on this one. But there are some other matches that, if it was 10, I'd be like, okay, this would have been a top 10. So, so number 5 is Triple H, Chris Benoit, and Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 20. To me, I think it is the best main event. Well, let me take that back. It's at least in the discussion for me of the best WrestleMania main event match of all time. I remember watching that match by myself. When Benoit wins, I wanted to yell so loud that everyone in the house was asleep, so I didn't want to wake them up that night. So, but no, that was an unbelievable match. I have that at number 5. Number 4, I have Hogan and Warrior from 6. It's my childhood, basically. I still love that match to this day. I think the shock value of Hogan losing clean is a big factor in that. So that's why it's at number 4. I'm telling you, 3 through 5 was hard for me. Number 3, Warrior versus Savage, WrestleMania 7. To me, I feel, from a non-athletic point of view, probably told the best story of any match in WrestleMania history. Before the match with Elizabeth, during the match, after the match with Elizabeth coming out. Mm-hmm. I love it. I just love it. Number 2, Steamboat and Savage from WrestleMania 3. Just a fantastic match. That is a match that should be watched in Wrestling 101. And my number 1 match, and like Jason, to me, the greatest, not only the greatest WrestleMania match, but the greatest match I have ever seen, is Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. That helped me get through a little bit of a rough patch in my life. And it's sort of ironic that all 3 of us have that as our number 1, with today being the 10-year anniversary of that match.
It's that good. It's that fucking good.
It's practically the perfect match.
Yeah, I'm only surprised that nobody included Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole from Mania 29 or whatever.
I would have that as my second worst WrestleMania match of all time.
What's worse than that, Gonzalez and Taker?
Nope. Have you ever seen Uncle Elmer versus Adrian Adonis?
Yes, I have.
Oh, dear God.
That's a rough...
I'm trying to think of what Diva match I hated more.
That might be our list next year. The worst WrestleMania matches.
Let's book it. Book it now.
All right, I'm booking it. Next year's list, the worst WrestleMania matches. All right, so, no, I'm glad we got into that. All right, so now we are going into prediction mode. Now we are going to be, we're going to be the experts, because we have, folks, not 1, not 2, but 3 shows that we are going to predict. That's all happening this weekend. This is why this is the greatest weekend of the year for wrestling fans. This is our Christmas. This is our everything. I mean...
Yeah, this is Hanukkah, New Year's, happy birthday, and everything.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yep.
So, we're going to start with the event that's going tonight, and that is NXT
Tonight.
TakeOver New York.
It's NXT.
5 matches, all of them championship matches.
Yep.
Very interesting. I think
I'm
this is the first.
so happy.
This is the first takeover, I think, where all 5 matches are title matches.
And I can't think of a stronger card for NXT.
This is a pretty good card.
I mean that in the best way. It's a very, very strong card for NXT. I can't think back to a stronger card. This is before the match begins. This is maybe the most stoked I've been for NXT in ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
the card looks amazing. Amazing.
Well, why don't we get the party started with the NXT North American title, Velveteen Dream defending against Matt Riddle.
Yeah, you just go ahead.
Yeah, no, come on. I will start out the ball and saying that this is very, very hard to predict. I think this is one of the things where Velveteen Dream doesn't really need the title. He's over. He's so fucking over. Mm-hmm. People love him. But he hasn't had it that long, has he?
No, he hasn't.
So there's something about, I hate transitioning. And what's the term? I've said hot potato wrestling.
Hot potato. Yep.
Yeah, hot potato. I hate it when they hot potato titles. So for the title's sake, I hope it stays on Velveteen Dream. But it wouldn't surprise me that WWE disagree with me and put it on Matt Sydal. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope they are going to stay with Velveteen Dream because of the titles will look better with a longer reign from Mr. Dream.
All right, Jason.
Yeah, Fro said a mouthful there in terms of the card and every match having stakes and being a stacked 5-match card. Super excited for that. Dream, I think for this reason, Dream is so naturally over. His character is so good, and he connects with the audience so well, and he is so good on the mic, and it's so Goldust 95. You know, it just connects so much with the audience that for that reason he doesn't need the title to be over. So I think that the plans for him to be called up pretty soon are going to happen. I think we'll see him either Monday or Tuesday, if not in the next few weeks for the shakeup. I think Dream's due up on the main roster, and I think they love Matt Riddle, and I think they want to push this guy as hard as possible. So I think Matt Riddle actually wins this title being a newer guy, even though Dream just won it. Gargano didn't have it very long, and neither did Ricochet either. So I think this title is kind of the one that bounces around more than the other ones, and I think that Riddle gets the win here and Dream goes up.
But don't you agree with me that it's kind of bad for the title? It makes it less prestigious if it's a hot potato title. Yeah,
I absolutely do. I definitely am a fan of longer title reigns and as few champions as possible. But I think that right now with call-ups and how many shake-ups they want to do, I think the Dream is on his way up.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually going to disagree with you guys. Don't get me wrong. I think Matt Riddle's a great talent. I think he will get a title run someday, but I just don't think now is the time. I think Velveteen Dream needs a little bit more experience, and I think him having a good, lengthy title run could help. I'm going to go Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, but I didn't disagree with that. Oh, no. I went for Velveteen Dream as well.
Right. Well, you were. I thought you'd said, like, you hope Dream retains it. Well, I don't know.
I hope he retains it. I'm not sure if he does.
Well, right. Okay.
Yeah. Also, as well, like I love Matt Riddle as a wrestler. I think that his look is great. I think his body's good. I think his wrestling ability is great. But the bro character is so lame and cheesy, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bro.
His mic work is very, very weak to me. I'm sorry. I know that he has a lot of fans. He's a PWG guy. He's an indie guy. I love the guy's look. He has a lot of natural tools, but the bro character is real cheesy to me. I just don't care for it.
No, I totally agree.
Next match, the NXT Tag Team titles. The War Raiders defend against Aleister Black and Ricochet.
Jesus Christ, I hope I'm wrong about that. Have I told you how much I hate the NXT title holders?
Aww.
I just don't like them, Bill.
Okay. I
just don't like them. I don't like their gimmick. It's just stupid. But they will retain. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I think that Ricochet and Black obviously are, not only are they on the main roster now, but they're in a WrestleMania match as well.
Yeah,
so it seems like they're pretty much full-time on the main roster, and they don't really fit well as a tag team, but they definitely fit well as a makeshift team for this. I think it's a nice way of getting two of your main eventers on the card in a tag match. This should be a very good match. I'm looking forward to the agile, bigger team versus the agile, smaller team. This is going to be a fun, possible show stealer.
It's not going to steal anything. I don't think they are going to steal a cake.
Oh.
Well, Ray Rowe is actually a Pittsburgh guy. He comes from the home company where I live here, about 12 minutes from my house. So I'm a huge fan of Ray Rowe. But I'm going to go for the Fro Raiders here. The Fro Raiders are going to win retain these titles. I am Team Fro Raiders.
Yeah, I think the War Raiders are going to retain the titles. Just because Black and Ricochet have a match on Sunday, which we will get to in a little bit. So, this next match, this is the one I cannot wait to see tonight. I think this is going to be the most brutal match on the show.
Yep.
Pete Dunne defending the United Kingdom title against Walter.
I am so fucking looking forward to this match. This is one of the reasons why I'm going to keep awake tonight, is to see Walter winning the title. Bill.
Oh God, this match is going to be insane.
Bill, he is going to win the title. He is so over. NXT UK has become one of my favorite WWE shows. I watch that every week now. I love that show.
So I watch NXT UK a little bit less. I do like that show a lot. I think Pete Dunne is one of my personal favorites on the entire roster right now.
He's good.
I really enjoy Pete Dunne's work. I'm going to be a bit of a Debbie Downer in this one. I'm not looking as much forward to this just because I was not really a Walter fan in the Indies. I just think that his character is a little plain. He does some things well. Obviously, he's a good strong style, good chopper, good striker. But I just am not nearly as big on Walter as I am Pete Dunne and most of the other UK division guys. Walter is going to win this title, though. Walter is going to win. Pete Dunne's had it now for like 974 days. He's beat pretty much everybody on the roster 5 times over. So it's time for some new blood. And Walter's new and undefeated and fresh, so why not give it to the new guy? So I'm not as stoked as you guys are, but I want to see this prove me wrong, and I think Walter's going to win.
It's it's one of those matches that I think are the most obvious this WrestleMania weekend. It's very, very obvious because he has kept it for so long.
Almost 2 years.
Yep.
He's had that belt since May of 07. May of 17. God,
07. That would be
I know,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
But I think Walter's winning it. He has to.
He has to.
Against Pete Dunne. I like Pete Dunne.
No, I love him, but he has actually proven me to a fan as well, and I think we will hear his name on Monday or Tuesday.
I hope so. I love that guy.
Yep.
All right, now the NXT Women's title is on the line in a fatal 4-way. Shayna Baszler defends against Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kairi Sane.
This is so hard to pick.
I could see any one of those 4 winning.
Yeah, me too.
A legit.
Yeah, this one is actually my hardest prediction out of the whole TakeOver show. This one's hard to call.
I actually think there's 25% chance of everyone winning.
I'm going to go ahead while you guys are mulling over. I'm going to say Shayna Baszler retains here. Because of the fact that it's a 4-way, I mean, one of the others could pin one of the others, and so Baszler could lose the belt without being pinned, and that would make sense as well. But I don't think Baszler's going to be going up this soon. I think she's going to retain here just because Belair kind of showed that she wasn't entirely ready after the last TakeOver. Her match wasn't great, and Kairi Sane's already won the title in short order, and Shirai doesn't necessarily need the title either. So I'm going to go ahead and say Baszler, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I mean, just ask Art Garfunkel's son from the last TakeOver. You know, he just bashed the bejesus out of Belair. So
yeah, she didn't deserve that kind of ridicule because she is very talented, and she's a future star for sure. But she just didn't look that great on the big stage last time.
Right.
I'm going to say Shirai.
Yeah, I think Io's going to take this one.
I think it's mostly because of the 2 other people. One being not good enough to take it, and one having it before and doesn't really need it again. She's the only one that actually needs it, and that's why I think she's getting it.
And now we go to the main event of this TakeOver. It is.
You agree with me?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
sure.
For the vacant NXT title, 2 out of 3 falls. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole.
I'm so looking forward to this main event.
Yeah, Johnny Gargano is one of the best storytellers in the entire company. He always finds a way to have sympathy and just build his feuds very, very well.
But does he get the title? That's the question on my lips.
No,
what do you
it is
think,
not.
Jason?
No, it is not. I think Adam Cole wins this. I think because I think the initial plan was Gargano versus Ciampa for the belt, and I think Gargano was going to finally beat Ciampa after all this time. And because of the injury and how things moved around, they like to throw curveballs at us when stuff like that happens. And I think that Undisputed Era needs a belt now because the tag titles are no longer with them, and they need something strong to keep that group strong. And Gargano beating somebody else besides Ciampa for the belt would not feel as satisfying. So I think that Gargano gets so close, but the 4-on-1 odds go against him, and he winds up losing and falling short again.
Adam Cole, baby! Remember when that was a gimmick, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Adam Cole as well.
All right, I'm going to be the one.
All the reasons.
I'm going to be the one that disagrees. I think Gargano's going to win it. I really do. But I think Adam Cole would make a great hunter for the title. But if he wins it, I won't be upset. I really won't.
I think Hunter's facing Batista.
Well, that's true, too. All right, so that's our preview of TakeOver. And now to the big one. The one that everyone is waiting for. The Ring of Honor New Japan G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden. I will be there tomorrow night. To say that I am excited is a bit of an understatement, to say the least. So
yeah, this card is pretty stacked. I'm very excited for these guys getting this kind of major exposure. I know they kind of expected, and we all expected that the Elite was going to be there with them as well. But in spite of what's happened, I'm so glad we're getting ROH on the big stage.
Yeah. So we are going to start with the well, actually, there's 2 pre-show matches on this. There is a 6-woman tag match. And I'll get it up. It is Kagetsu Hazuki and Jenny Rose against Sumi Sakai, Hana Kimura, and Stella Gray. I mean, we don't have to pick this one if you guys don't want to.
I would say Jenny Rose is pretty over. She's the homegrown talent for ROH, and she seems to be pretty over with the crowd. So I'll take her and whatever else you said.
Okay. Fro?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna go with the Sumi Sakai team. That's gonna be who I go with. Just to be different. Okay, now, the other pre-show match, which is taking place, is the Honor Rumble. So, we don't have the full list. There's gonna be some surprises in this one. But the participants that can be confirmed for this: Jushin Thunder Liger, Kenny King, the Bouncers, the Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis, PJ Black, and Cheeseburger are the confirmed participants that we know of as of this moment. And I'm sure there's going to be many more that will be in it that we just have no idea are in it.
Oh, I hope Cheeseburger wins, but it's never going to happen.
I'm going to go Jushin Liger. He's retiring this year, I think very soon, and this is his last chance to get on the biggest stage. So I think that he wins. I don't know if they're going to give him a second match on the show after this, but I think either way, this is his big MSG farewell. He's the biggest name in the thing and the most over guy in this Rumble, and I think that he deserves it for his 25, 30 years in the business.
Yeah, I think they're going to give this one to Liger. I mean, it's the Garden. It is his last year. I'm going to go Liger. All right, now to the main card. Will Ospreay versus Jeff Cobb with both the Never Openweight title and the Ring of Honor World Television title on the line.
This one is going to be fire. I'm really excited for this match. This could easily steal the show. I think Ospreay is probably the best flyer, aside from Ricochet, in the world right now. I think this dude is amazing. Jeff Cobb is going to be in NXT in 2 years' time, but Jeff Cobb is an absolute monster. This match should be a possible show stealer for the entire weekend. And I think Cobb is going to win. He came in, he did the Future of Honor tournament. He destroyed everyone. He's been undefeated ever since. I don't see him losing to the smaller guy here. I think he fits well with New Japan in that division as well. So I think Cobb wins this match in what should be an absolute belter.
Yeah, I totally agree with all he said.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Jeff Cobb. If you watch New Japan, he's had several attempts at the openweight title and has not been able to win it. So I think he will take it. Then we have an interesting match as Dalton Castle will take on Roosh.
Is that Tim calling now?
That's Castle.
Maybe. I'll start this one. I'm going to take Roosh. Because he's another one that just came to the Ring of Honor. He's undefeated so far. This will be a good match, but I think Roosh is going to win it.
Yeah, Dalton Castle's kind of been doing a losing streak thing recently. He hasn't really found himself since losing the title. He was injured, came back, has not had much success as far as his win-loss record. Roosh is new and fresh. Doesn't like to lose much. Didn't lose much in MLW. I don't think he lost at all in MLW. Hasn't lost at all in Ring of Honor. Just came off the big win against Bandito at the last major show. Roosh wins this one as well.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Next up, the Women of Honor World title will be defended. Mayu Iwatani defends against Kelly Klein.
I'm a huge fan of Kelly Klein. I like her a lot. She actually came to Pittsburgh. She works here for a company called Angel Gate. It's an all-ladies wrestling company here. Just got a chance to meet her, talk to her. Very, very sweet person. Also like her in-ring ability a lot. The whole suplex and mixed martial arts style that she has translates well. I'm not as big on Iwatani. I think that Iwatani's going to retain. I don't see Klein winning the belt again, but I think I'm cheering for Kelly in this one personally, but Iwatani wins.
Yeah, you said all the things I was thinking, so I agree.
I think Kelly Klein is actually going to win the title. I really do.
Why?
Because I think the match that they had in Vegas was a bit of a letdown for her character-wise, and it was a bit of a letdown overall, but I think she comes back and she wins the title. Then we have a New York City street fight. Bully Ray will take on Juice Robinson.
I'm really looking forward to this match. Can I just say this so?
Yeah.
I'm a big Bully Ray fan.
Because he threatened kids a few weeks ago?
Yep.
I thought so.
I actually didn't realize that Robinson was confirmed for this. I thought that, I know that on the last show, Bully Ray made a reference to Punk, obviously. He was not going to be there, but I didn't know that Robinson confirmed for this. Did I miss that on TV or something?
It was reported on Ring of Honor on their website.
Okay, yeah, I actually totally missed the confirmation of that. But Juice Robinson obviously has Lifeblood now. That's the big group. He's being pushed big time since the Elite have left. He's the new Japan star in Ring of Honor. He's got this group that he needs to galvanize. Bully Ray's an already established guy. He can afford to lose and not be hurt by it. So I think Juice wins.
This is tough, actually. I'm gonna say Bully goes over, actually. But it's a tough pick. Next, we have a three-way match.
You don't want...
Yeah, what about your pick? I'm sorry, what about your pick? I thought you were already good, but go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we can continue. No, I think Bully Ray is not going to win here. I totally agree with Jason. I see something.
All right. Next up, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title is defended in a three-way match. Taiji Ishimori defends against Dragon Lee and Bandito.
I think Ishimori retains here. I don't think they're going to want to have IWGP title switching hands, or at least not this one, switching hands on this show. Bandito would make sense because they want to push him pretty hard. He's with the new group too. They like him a lot. Coming off the Indies, he was offered a lot of money. But I think Ishimori retains here in what should be a fun match.
I totally agree.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun match to see. And I think Ishimori is going to retain. Now, we have a very interesting match. The IWGP Tag Team titles and the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles are going to be defended in a four corners match. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, they are the IWGP Tag Champions. Brody King and PCO, they are the Ring of Honor Tag Champs. Along with Sonata and Evil and the Briscoes will be involved.
Yeah, this one is the hardest one to call for me for the Ring of Honor show, just because there's two belts involved. Anytime you have two companies that are involved, you don't really know which Ring of Honor guys that New Japan wants to use and vice versa. So it's really kind of hard to say. I mean, PCO and Brody King just won those tag titles.
Yeah.
And Marty Scurll, who they want to appease. But I think Scurll's going to be leaving soon to go to All Elite next month or so. So it's kind of really hard to say what they do here. I'm going to say Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa because I can see them working both companies.
All right. Fro?
Yep. Totally agree.
You know what? I'm going to say the Briscoes win.
I'm so sick of the Briscoes being tag champs, though. It's been so many times.
I know, but them wrestling in Japan would be very interesting to see.
Right.
Then we have, for the British heavyweight title, Zack Sabre Jr. defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I think Sabre retains. It's good to see him doing more Ring of Honor stuff. I think he's one of the better technical wrestlers that is unsigned by Vince right now. Mm-hmm. I just really enjoy his heel character. I enjoy his technicality and his working over body parts. I think he retains here. I'm really enjoying seeing him on TV more often.
All right. I guess I'll go. I think Sabre's going to win it. It'll be great to see Tanahashi in the Garden, but I think Zack Sabre's going to win it.
Yeah, I agree with Bill.
All right.
Sabre is the safe bet here. I think this is maybe the easiest pick.
It could. Then we have the IWGP Intercontinental title. Tetsuya Naito defends against Kota Ibushi.
This one kind of is a little hard to call, too. Naito, I think, is coming off of the stronger, the whole run with Jericho and everything, and turning heel last year when he did has made a big name for him. This should be a fun match. Ibushi is always involved in one of the better matches of all the cards that he's on. He's just a really talented guy. He just finally signed a contract with them as well, so he'll be around for a while. But I think Naito retains.
I also think Naito retains. I think he needs it more.
This is actually a little bit of a hard pick here, but I'm going to say Ibushi wins the title because they don't have Omega, and I think him as a champion would be pretty cool to see, but I'd be okay with Naito retaining it as well.
I can see either way on this one.
And now we go to the double main event of this show. The first one, the Ring of Honor World title on the line in a ladder match. Jay Lethal defending against Matt Taven and Marty Scurll.
Yeah, this one's a little hard to call just because I think they want to put the Rocket on Skrull and give him a reason to want to stay, but obviously his friends are all signed elsewhere and his contract is up in about a month or so. So part of me wants to say that he'll win this title and then sign an extension at least till September, October when TV comes around. So it's kind of hard to say. I don't think Taven has a shot here. I think it's either Lethal retains or Skrull wins. I'm going to go off the wall and say Marty Scurll just for a bold pick.
Okay. Fro, would you like to make your pick?
Oh, this is so hard. You pick first.
Okay. This is going to be very interesting to see, and especially with that 60-minute match they had a few weeks ago. It actually made me more of a believer that Matt Taven can win the title.
Yeah.
I think Marty winning would be very interesting. Jay Lethal would probably be a safe bet, but I'm going to be the one that goes out on a limb. Matt Taven has said since the summer he is the uncrowned Ring of Honor champion. He will be Ring of Honor World Champion tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go on a limb with you, Bill.
All right. And the other half of the double main event, the IWGP Heavyweight title, Jay White defends against Kazuchika Okada.
Okada.
Okay.
I mean, much like the Briscoes and Jay Lethal, I'm sick of Okada being champion. It's been like 19 years. Nothing against Okada. He's a solid enough wrestler. I think he's a little overrated. I know he's Mr. Japan. I don't dislike him. I'm just kind of tired of him. Just like Lethal and the Briscoes being champions all the time is kind of too much for me. So I'm hoping Switchblade Jay White, who I think has been that much improved in the last couple of years, I'm really enjoying his work, and I hope he retains.
This is Jay White's first defense of the title since he won it. I can't see him losing this. I'm going Jay White.
Really?
Well. Yeah, I do.
Okay. I'm the only one that thinks Okada.
Yep. All right, so here's what we're going to do, folks. We are going to take a break because we have our last WrestleMania report, and when we come back, we will preview WrestleMania 35. So let's go to Al Out of Love with our WrestleMania report. Folks, this is it. This Sunday night, WrestleMania 35 comes to you live from MetLife Stadium just outside of New York City. Now, folks, if you can't be in attendance for what will truly be one of the biggest nights in the history of WWE, and in that matter, the history of professional wrestling, the next best thing you can do is sign up for the WWE Network. You go to WWE.com, you sign up on the WWE Network, and if you sign up right now, you get your first month free, which includes this Sunday's WrestleMania. Now, of course, you can also watch WrestleMania on a pay-per-view basis. All you gotta do, pick up that remote control of yours, go to the box, find WrestleMania, order WrestleMania, and you are right there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a historic WrestleMania. Every WrestleMania is historic, but this one might be one of the most historic WrestleManias of all time. As announced last week, the main event of WrestleMania is the triple threat match with Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. Now, this all-important main event is even more important than it was before. with Charlotte winning the SmackDown title last week. Stephanie McMahon made the announcement this past Monday night on Raw that the main event will be winner take all. That means someone is leaving MetLife Stadium with both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. And if you saw the incident that took place this past Monday night on Raw, believe me, folks, these three women will do anything, and I mean anything, to win both titles. But there are so many other matches along with this tremendous main event, so let's run down the entire card for this Sunday's WrestleMania. You already know the main event of WrestleMania, the triple threat match for the women's titles. The WWE Championship will also be on the line as Daniel Bryan faces Kofi Kingston. Will this Cinderella story have a happily ever after for Kofi Kingston, or will the new Daniel Bryan remain the champion? The Universal Championship is on the line as Brock Lesnar defends the title against Seth Rollins. This past Monday night, Seth Rollins took the first shot on Brock Lesnar, laying him out with a curb stomp. Was that a preview of what will happen this Sunday at WrestleMania, or are we about to witness a series of F5s? Triple H puts his entire career on the line against Batista in a no-holds-barred match. Batista said this would be his last match no matter what, but it could very well be Triple H's last match in the ring as well. Shane McMahon and The Miz. This is one of the most personal matches going into this WrestleMania. Falls count anywhere in MetLife Stadium. Now, if you saw SmackDown this past Tuesday night, The Miz defeated Sanity in a 3-on-1 Falls count anywhere match. Imagine what he could do to Shane 1-on-1. How about this battle? Roman Reigns taking on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has attempted to take out every member of the Shield. If he takes Roman out, it'll be the biggest hunt of them all. But Roman Reigns is looking to put his bite as the big dog. Also at WrestleMania, the women's tag team titles will be on the line in a fatal 4-way. Sasha and Bayley defend against Tamina and Nia Jax, the Iconics, and Beth Phoenix and Natalya. Now, something to remember about that match is that neither Sasha or Bayley have to be involved in a deciding fall to lose their titles. That means, let's say the possibility is out there. Beth Phoenix could pin Billie Kay in the ring. Beth and Natalya would win the women's tag team titles without Bayley and Sasha ever being a deciding factor in the match. More matches for WrestleMania. AJ Styles goes one-on-one with Randy Orton, two former WWE champions, to take place their confrontation on the biggest stage of them all. The United States Championship is on the line as Samoa Joe makes his WrestleMania debut against Rey Mysterio. This is the one championship in WWE Rey Mysterio has not won, and he's looking to fulfill that accomplishment. Don't forget, Rey's son Dominic will be in his corner. The Intercontinental title will be on the line as Bobby Lashley defends the title against Finn Balor. But Finn Balor's not coming alone because he is bringing the Demon with him to MetLife Stadium. And as the Demon, Finn Balor hardly ever loses. Will that be the same this Sunday? Kurt Angle retires no matter if he wins or loses this Sunday night at WrestleMania as he takes on Baron Corbin. This is Angle's last match as a wrestler. But Baron Corbin would like to end Kurt Angle's career on a sour note. Will the big man be able to do it? Or is there one more ankle lock left from Kurt Angle? A new match signed this week. It is a fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Usos defend against Ricochet and Aleister Black, Cesaro and Sheamus, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. That's going to be a very interesting match because the Usos are in the same situation that Sasha Banks and Bayley are in that they don't have to be pinned or forced to submit to lose their title. A lot is on the line in that match. Also, at WrestleMania 35, we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We already know Braun Strowman is a part of it, so is Michael Shea and Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live, along with 26 other wrestlers, and there could be a whole lot more added to that Battle Royal. Also, the second annual Women's Battle Royal will take place. Some of the participants we know include the Riot Squad, Asuka, Lana, Naomi, Mickie James, Nikki Cross, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Zelina Vega, Carmella, Dana Brooke, and so much more. And the Cruiserweight Championship will be on the line as Buddy Murphy defends the title against Tony Nese. These two allies are going to face each other in the middle of the ring, in the heart of the biggest wrestling weekend of the year. Will Tony Nese be able to take the Cruiserweight title away from an almost unbeatable champion in Buddy Murphy? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the official lineup for WrestleMania 35. Now, of course, do have to talk about some other extracurricular activities that will be taking place as part of WrestleMania 35. As you already know, Alexa Bliss is the host of this year's WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss has been very responsible for some of the matches. She basically put Michael Shea and Colin Jost into the Battle Royal after Braun Strowman made the offer. And she was the one who made the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. How will she do as a host of WrestleMania 35? Well, only time will tell. Also, we will see at WrestleMania 35 Elias performing. He will be performing, and he said this is going to be the greatest performance in the history of WrestleMania. Well, we'll just have to see how that turns out. Gospel singer Yolanda Adams will begin WrestleMania with America the Beautiful, and she was very excited with that announcement on Twitter last week, and I gotta tell you, I think we could be in for a very good performance of America the Beautiful. And of course, Joan Jett, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Joan Jett, will be at WrestleMania. She will be performing Bad Reputation, the theme song for Ronda Rousey. Folks, there's not enough hype left that I can do to convince you to watch this WrestleMania. This WrestleMania could go down as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. And if you miss out on this WrestleMania, the only person that you have to blame is you. So do whatever you have to do. Get the WWE Network. Order it on pay-per-view. It doesn't matter. You go get WrestleMania 35 and witness history in the making this Sunday night outside of New York City. For your WrestleMania report, I'm Al Outta Love.
First then, Bill.
Okay, well, we will.
Let him do his pick, and we can discuss it later.
Okay, well, we're going to do it now because we're back from our break. And actually, something that Al did not report because his was pre-recorded, we have a new match to this WrestleMania.
Yay!
We have 16 matches.
Oh my god.
To WrestleMania, including pre-show.
I'm so happy there's something called cocaine.
You know, meth's a heck of a drug. Anyway, so why don't we start...
That was a joke, by the way, everybody. I don't think cocaine.
So why don't we start with the newest match that got added. The Revival defends the Raw Tag Team titles against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. The way this match was added, folks, if you were, for those who are curious, Hawkins and Ryder challenged the Revival on Twitter. The Revival said yes.
Oh my God. You're going to hear me say this a lot in this review. Here's where the negative side comes out. The Revival deserves so much better. They're just being pushed so poorly. They're such a nice back tag team. Hawkins and Ryder are jobbers, and the Revival has been treated like jobbers. They've been losing to Black and Ricochet for weeks and weeks and weeks. They lost for months in a row. They finally won the belts. They've lost 6 more times since then. This match means nothing, but the Revival hopefully retain.
I could not agree fucking more with Jason here.
I think this is a perfect setup for a lot of things. And I like the Revival. They're a good tag team. But think about this. We're near New York City. Hawkins hasn't won a match in 200 plus matches. And Zack Ryder got engaged last night. We are going to have new Raw Tag Team Champions, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. And the majority of our Facebook group agree with me. Hawkins and Ryder will win the tag team titles.
Boo. That's awful.
So now we go to the rest of the card. We start with the Cruiserweight title as Buddy Murphy defends against Tony Nese.
Should be a solid match. I always like the 205 stuff. I watch 205 every single week. I like Nese, but I don't know if he's championship material. He's more wrestler over character. Murphy has grown into a pretty good heel. This should be a nice match with a good story, but I think Murphy is a stronger choice to maintain and retain up until he gets a stronger challenger. So I'm going Murphy here.
Yeah, I'm not as crazy as Jason and watch 205 Live because nobody watches 205 Live other than Jason. Jason is the only watcher of that show, I think. You're the reason why WWE still have it on their program. Stop watching it, Jason.
You're welcome.
I'm kind of joking, but yeah, I'm a big Nese fan. But I also think he will retain here.
Buddy Murphy has been incredible since he's been the Cruiserweight champion. But at some point, everything's got to come to an end. I think Tony Nese wins the Cruiserweight title. And it's very rare that I see a bunch of like hometown people win in their hometown. But I think it's going to happen. All right, next up is the Women's Battle Royal for WrestleMania. And, of course, we probably won't know everyone, so we're just going to go with who we have so far. The competitors for this Battle Royal so far include Asuka, Carmella, Naomi, Lana, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mickie James, and Zelina Vega.
I hope Carmella wins. I hope Carmella wins.
Yeah, my short answer is who cares? Just because they don't push the winner anyway. I mean, I think Mandy won last year and hasn't been in a spotlight match since she won last year. So this doesn't matter at all. There's no stakes. They don't care at all. But I think that Asuka wins because she was the ex-champion who was supposed to be in a big match and is now relegated to pre-show duties. So I think she gets this to make up for not being on the show.
Before I put in my picks, I want to read some people who selected other in our voting and gave their pick. Malcolm wrote, "The one that keeps walking and leaving again will win the Battle Royal." And Brian, and this is going to be a trend, folks. The WrestleMania Squirrel will win the Women's Battle Royal. Or as I call it, the Naomi Memorial Battle Royal, because Naomi did win it last year. It should be named after her. I'm going to give you a shocker, folks. I see Mandy Rose winning this Battle Royal.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, and I hope Carmella wins.
All right. Then we
She
have...
deserves it with just because she had to work with R-Truth for so long.
And
As a prize.
This next match, I have no idea why this is on the pre-show. This should not be on the pre-show. This should be on the main show. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Here are, as of this moment, the participants in this match. Braun Strowman, Colin Jost, Michael Shea from Saturday Night Live, Andrade, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, Tyler Breeze, Jinder Mahal, No Way Jose, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Kalisto, Gran Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater, Rhino, Victor, Connor, Ali, Shelton Benjamin, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Otis, Tucker, and EC3.
Yeah, isn't it funny that the last thing you said is my pick? I actually am picking EC3. They are very, very high on him. They love EC3. Yeah. So I'm picking EC3.
Yeah, my short answer is who cares? Once again, much like the other one, they don't push the winner of this anyway. I think Mojo Rawley won.
Well, they did it last year.
A little bit.
I mean, the winner of this doesn't get anything special. They're not getting pushed. None of this really matters at all. Pretty much just a waste of everyone's time to even have this damn match. But I will say Braun Strowman, just because, much like Asuka, much like Revival, this guy is underutilized like crazy. He was supposed to be a Mania main eventer coming into the year. 6 months ago, he was a major star. Now he's relegated to pre-show duties, fighting against SNL comedy sketch guys. What a waste of this guy. I think he wins, but I also feel bad that Andrade and Ali are stuck in this match as well, because they're super talented and they deserve more as well.
The problem is that he hasn't won it, and that's why I'm not picking him.
Did he win already? I had no idea. I don't even care about this match.
He won last year, yeah. Didn't he?
No, Matt Hardy won it last year.
Oh.
See, nobody even knows who won the damn thing.
Braun Strowman won the title with a kid.
Oh, yeah.
He won the tag titles with a 10-year-old.
Yeah, but what thing that didn't count did he win? Oh, I remember. It was the we paid blood money for it. So let's go to Saudi Arabia. Right. Battle Royal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a waste too.
Real quick, I forgot to mention this. Our fans split in the vote for the women's battle royal. They think Ruby Riott or other will win that match. As far as the Andre the Giant Battle Royal goes, real quick, Ted says Stone Cold E.T. will win the Battle Royal. Brian, once again, says the WrestleMania Squirrel will win. I'm going to give you a shocker. I think Ali is going to win. I think this is going to be WWE making up to Ali with the concussion situation, saying, sorry, you're not in a bigger match at WrestleMania. We'll give you this trophy.
Yeah, that's fine. He's a good worker. He deserves it. I like him.
All right. Next up, the SmackDown Tag Team titles are on the line of Fatal 4-Way. The Usos defend... Oh, actually, real quick, most people have Braun Strowman winning the Battle Royal. Usos defending the SmackDown Tag titles against Ricochet and Aleister Black, Cesaro and Sheamus, Rusev, and Nakamura.
So I have to actually head out now. I'm going to give you guys my rundown of my rest of predictions on the card. Sadly, guys, I apologize to you podcast listeners. I have to duty calls for some work things, but I will give you guys my quick rundown of who will win these matches, and you guys can discuss why I'm wrong after I leave. Okay. I think for the 4-Way, the Usos retain. Good for them. They're talented. They belong there. The women's tag team 4-Way, these belts are already useless, but Sasha and Bayley will retain those belts. Angle against Corbin, I think that it doesn't happen that way. I think Corbin is injured and Cena comes out. We get Angle and Cena. But I think I'm going to give Kurt Angle the win for his retirement match. Congratulations, Kurt. You're a legend. IC title, Finn Balor beats Lashley for the 900th time to win the belt. U.S. title, Samoa Joe beats Mysterio in what could be a show stealer. Looking forward to that one. Falls Count Anywhere, Miz versus the guy that jumps off buildings. I think Shane will jump off the building at some point, but I think Miz wins. Orton versus Styles, I'm taking Team TNA. I think AJ wins this one, and it should be a good match. SmackDown's done a nice job with their booking recently, so I'll go with Styles. Reigns versus McIntyre, I think Roman gets the feel-good moment. I wonder how long it's going to last before the crowd turns on him. Triple H against Batista. Oh, God, I hate when the two old veterans face each other for the 90,000th time. But Triple H is not going to retire full-time, and Batista wants to lose on his way out to Triple H. He's already said so. So I think the Triple H wins that one. SmackDown title, Bryan against Kofi Kingston. This should be Ollie or Kevin Owens, in my opinion, in this spot, but Kofi did get himself over, so good for him. I think Kofi wins here. I think they can't troll the fans for months and months over Kofi and then not have him win the match. So I think Kofi wins the belt. For the Raw title, we got the part-time 4 times a year champion against Seth Rollins. I hope Seth Rollins wins. I've got a feeling Brock is going to find a way again, but I'm going to go with my gut here and go Rollins because I'm sick of a champion that only wrestles at WrestleMania. And for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, once again, you can't troll the fans for this long. Charlotte's already had 8 title reigns already in her short career, and Ronda Rousey is on her way, taking a break, if not leaving for good. So Becky Lynch sends the fans home happy. I'm not sure if we're going to get all 3 of those, Rollins, Kofi, and Becky. I'm sure they're going to troll us at least once, but I will take Becky to win that women's title match. Now you guys control me as I take off.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for being with us.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm sorry I'm cutting it a little bit short, but thank you all so much. I always enjoy looking forward to this show, and I want to ask you guys and all the fans listening to us out there, please enjoy this weekend, whether it's ROH, TakeOver, Mania, whatever else you watch. Please enjoy this weekend. We love having you guys as wrestling fans, and I can't wait to come back again and talk to you guys about these shows.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so Fro, who do you got in the... It's Usos, Ricochet and Aleister Black, Cesaro, Sheamus, Nakamura, Rusev.
Everybody but Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. I think team number 2 is going to get it.
So you're going with Ricochet and Aleister Black. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. They are very, very good.
You know what? I'm gonna do another shock pick here. I think Nakamura and Rusev are gonna win the titles.
Really?
I really do. Most people in our group think Ricochet and Black will win the tag titles on that one.
Cool.
Next up, Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. It is Angle's farewell match.
Yeah, and when he said that with John Cena, I could not agree more, actually.
So you think Angle will win?
It's a good idea.
So you think Corbin won't be in the match, it'll be Cena, and Angle wins?
Why not?
You know what?
It's a good idea.
No, it is. It is. I just don't see that happening. I think we're gonna.
Okay.
I think we're gonna get this match. People are gonna be upset, and Baron Corbin is going to beat Kurt Angle in his final match as a WWE wrestler. Because to be honest, when you're retiring, you're not supposed to win your final match. I think Corbin is going to win, although most people think Kurt Angle will win. Next up, Intercontinental title, Bobby Lashley against Finn Balor.
Yeah. I hope Finn wins. I really, really do.
Oh, it's got to be Finn. I mean, he's the demon in this
Yeah.
one. It has to be Finn Balor. And a lot of people in our group think Finn Balor will win back the Intercontinental title. United States title, Samoa Joe against Rey Mysterio.
Like I said on Let's Talk Then. No, fucking hell, another digital citizen. Let's talk them instead. But like I said on another digital citizen, Rey Mysterio gets hurt just watching it. Mm-hmm. Watching the ring. So I think they are not going to take the chance with Rey Mysterio.
All right.
He's too injury prone.
Yeah. This is going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to this one. I think Joe's going to win this one. I think he's going to retain the title. Should be a good match. This is one of our closer voted matches. I just added my vote, so Samoa Joe is right now the favorite in our group to win. Next up, AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Oh, I'm so not looking forward to this match. And that's just because one of the names on the list there is Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
The curse of Randy Orton winning at Wrestlemania will continue.
Yeah, actually, I do think Randy Orton's going to win this because I think this is going to continue for a little bit longer. Randy Orton will win. Although most of our Facebook group thinks AJ Styles will win. Next up, the women's tag team titles will be defended for Fatal 4-Way. Bayley and Sasha Banks defending against Beth Phoenix and Natalya, the Iconics, Nia Jax, and Tamina.
I'm going out on a limb and saying the Iconics is going to win it there.
You know what? I am as well. I think the Iconics are going to win the women tag team titles. It
would be so funny. I love the Iconics.
But it would be really cool.
Yeah.
Next up, Roman Reigns.
What do the audience think?
Oh, the audience thinks Sasha and Bayley will retain.
Okay.
Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre.
I know who's not going to win.
The fans?
Yep. But Roman Reigns is going to win. Of course he's going to win. You don't get the wrestler back from cancer.
Right.
Let him lose in his first WrestleMania match. Like 2 months after he has beaten cancer, he lets Drew fucking who the cares McIntyre beat him.
I feel bad for Drew because he's really put a lot of effort into this match.
Yeah.
Angle-wise.
It is so obvious.
He deserves better this WrestleMania.
He deserves better, but Roman Reigns is going to win, and we're done with this discussion.
Oh yeah,
I will bet a lot of money on that.
Well, I agree. I think Roman Reigns is going to win.
It's the most obvious match during this week.
Oh, I don't think so. I think there's another one that's real obvious, but this is actually surprisingly a close vote on this one, but most people think Roman Reigns will win. Shane McMahon against The Miz, Falls Count Anywhere.
Yeah, I also think The Miz will win. I think it's mainly because Shane has, or McMahon has a tendency to, I jump from a high place, I land somewhere, I can be written out for 6 months to have a vacation, then come back. So, The Miz is going to win.
Yeah, I think The Miz is going to win this one. But don't be surprised if you see a lot of high flying in that one.
Yeah.
Triple H against Batista. No holds barred. If Triple H loses, his career is over. His in-ring career, I should say, is over.
Because of this stupid stipulation, we all know that Triple H is going to win, don't we?
Pretty much.
It's so stupid. Without the stipulation, I think Batista would have a chance. Because of the stipulation, no, Triple H is wanted to make himself look good. In the same year, he also goes into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
What a coincidence. It's such a coincidence. It's not like it's planned or something.
I agree with you. Triple H is winning that one. He is.
Yeah.
And now to our 3 big matches. And this is the big one for folks. The Brock Lesnar Memorial Championship is on the line. Brock Lesnar defends against Seth Rollins.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, if Brock Lesnar wins this again, you will not hear from me next week. It is that fucking obvious. I hate it. I hate it. I hate this match. I hate this match even before we started recording this. Last year, I hated this match. Oh, I don't want this match. Brock Lesnar, please don't make me stop watching wrestling. I'm not going to be... Why should I be on a wrestling show when I stopped watching wrestling?
Well, Fro, I'll tell you. Until Monday night, I thought for sure Seth was going to win.
Yeah.
But when he beat up Brock, I
I know.
Oh no.
I know.
So I hate to do this, but I think Brock's going to retain the title.
Well,
Although our Facebook group thinks Seth Rollins is going to win. So we will see.
we will see if I am here next week or not.
All right. Now, the WWE Championship is on the line. Daniel Bryan.
Because I really mean that.
No,
it's not a threat.
I know.
It's not a fake threat. I don't care if they don't give that fucking title to someone else. I'm done. I'm done with covering WWE. I don't want to talk about WWE anymore then.
Well, we got 2 more matches.
Oh, I hate them.
Daniel
Okay,
Bryan
sorry.
defends the WWE title against Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston.
It has to be. It really
It has to be.
I mean, you're gonna have you would be dumb to not make history. The WWE title, that title, the belt that's been around for 50 plus years, has never been around the waist of an African American.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not counting The Rock because he's part Samoan, part black, and he was going mostly with his Samoan heritage. If there's anyone that deserves the title, it's Kofi Kingston. It is. And the main event. This is the big one. History will be made no matter what. A triple threat match, winner take all, for both the Raw and SmackDown women's title. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Luke that says that you can't go wrong betting on Flair. And I called her Ric Flair twice during the podcasts. I did actually. I said, I don't think Ric Flair will win this match. I said, another digital citizen, by the way, on iTunes.
So, you're going to Charlotte on this one?
No, I am. I'm going against Luke. I'm going. Oh, I really. I hope it's. I hope they haven't teased us so much by giving her obstacle after obstacle. This is the. No, I really hope the the Irish woman wins. I really do.
If Becky doesn't win, there may not be a MetLife Stadium after WrestleMania.
People are going to be angry.
I'm going to go Becky Lynch. The way it's been booked since Survivor Series. And of all people,
I know.
We could thank Nia Jax for that.
Yep.
It has to be Becky Lynch. If she doesn't win, I will be surprised. And most of the Facebook group believe Becky Lynch will win. So,
but it wouldn't surprise me if they did a switch on it and gave it to Flair.
Oh, I know, right? All right. So that's our predictions for WrestleMania, for New Japan, for NXT. So many predictions. This is our probably longest show of the year. So we're just going to skip the plugs this week if you're okay with that, Fro.
Nah. Go and subscribe to another digital citizen.
All right. And And go subscribe to the other podcasts that I tell you guys about. So
Yeah.
So next week, even if Fro is here or not, we're going to review everything. Or at least I am. Going to review NXT TakeOver, going to review the Supercard show, going to review WrestleMania, and we also have the Dark Side of the Ring show that we got to review as well next week. So there's a lot of reviews next week. So I hope you guys are prepared. And on that note, thank you guys for listening to That Wrestling Show, the only podcast where all pro wrestling matters. This is the biggest weekend of the year. I'm going to be there tomorrow at the Garden. And until then...
And I really, really, really hope I will be here next week. I hope so. But we'll see.
Yep. Until next time, folks.
Wrestle on.
Wrestle on, and happy WrestleMania.
Happy WrestleMania!